After a major flood, the water eventually recedes, but it leaves behind a chaotic, contaminated mess in people's living rooms. For decades, our default solution to sanitizing these disaster zones required introducing massive quantities of harsh industrial compounds right into the home. The strategy was essentially outright chemical warfare. Crews poured thick, highly concentrated, aggressive liquids directly onto the wreckage. They relied on heavy doses of concentrated bleach, industrial ammonia, and high-strength oxidizers to burn away the biological damage. But trying to fix a natural disaster by flushing hundreds of gallons of toxic runoff down a residential street is counterproductive. It simply creates a localized, man-made crisis on top of the natural one. Today, property owners are demanding better. Rooted in the environmental awareness sparked by the first Earth Day, there is a push to restore homes without poisoning the local water supply in the process. The result is a specialized class of deep cleaning products. Public health authorities strictly classify these new agents as having exactly 0 known adverse effects on human health. This diagram illustrates the chemical profile of these modern cleaners. They contain 0 ammonia, 0 chlorine, no oxidizers, and no alcohols, maintaining a perfectly neutral pH. Yet, if you hire a restoration crew using these perfectly safe, neutral cleaners, the workers who arrive at your front door will look completely encapsulated in extreme heavy-duty gear. If the compounds they are spraying are entirely harmless to humans and the Earth, why do the cleanup crews look equipped to survive a nuclear fallout? The intense gear has absolutely nothing to do with the cleaning supplies. The danger lies entirely in the environment they are stepping into. A post-disaster interior is a concentrated soup of microscopic hazards. A burned or flooded home is filled with airborne toxic ash, rapidly multiplying mold spores, and often disturbed asbestos. The old, harsh chemicals used to act as an aggressive biological shield, obliterating those airborne threats through sheer toxicity. By removing those aggressive chemicals to save the environment, the worker is exposed directly to the raw hazard of the disaster zone. Removing our chemical barriers means we have to implement strict, thick physical barriers to protect the human body from the raw residue. This physical protection is legally mandated. The Ministry of Labor, Occupational Health and Safety Act strictly dictates every aspect of site cleanup protocol to keep these crews alive. Under the Act, every worker on site must be sealed inside a protective Tyvek suit. Tyvek is a dense, synthetic material that completely blocks hazardous dry particulates and contaminated liquids from touching the skin. The primary respiratory defense mandated by the protocol is the high-efficiency P100 full-face respirator, also known as a PAPR. A PAPR, or powered air purifying respirator, uses a battery-powered blower to force surrounding air through a dense filter before the worker breathes it. In this P100 filter cross-section, the thick membrane catches microscopic, disaster-borne particulates, physically blocking them from the lungs. Notice the clean side remains entirely clear. With 0 chemical vapors rising from the cleaning agent, this system focuses entirely on external environmental hazards. Legal compliance under the Act ensures that human safety is never sacrificed in the pursuit of environmental sustainability. This microscopic view shows how eco-friendly recovery works in practice. The neutral pH cleaner safely loosens and breaks down grime, lifting the jagged dirt particles away without triggering any corrosive reactions. Once the toxic soot and mold are loosened, the protected workers physically wipe them away, extracting the non-toxic residue from the building. The immediate, localized result is a thoroughly sanitized property, where the wood, drywall, and masonry remain structurally preserved, completely free of chemical burns. True restoration is a meticulous physical extraction process. It relies on carefully lifting the damage out of a space, rather than chemically obliterating the room. Because the process relies on physical extraction rather than aggressive oxidizers, the water leaving the site stays pure, and the surrounding natural ecosystem thrives. Modern disaster recovery forces us to view safety as a mandatory two-way street. We must shield the fragile natural environment from our industrial chemicals, while strictly shielding our vulnerable human workers from the hazardous natural environment. True eco-friendly recovery relies on a rigorous, legally compliant system that simultaneously respects the fragility of nature and the uncompromising value of human life.